In order to have some juridical stability, this group of lay hermits turned to the Patriarch of Jerusalem, St. Albert Avogadro, 1150 to 1214, who was then living at St. John of Acre near Mount Carmel. Between 1206 to 1214, he gave them a formula of life. Successive approvals of this formula of life by various popes helped the process of transforming the group into a religious order, a fact which took place at the time of the definitive approval of the text as a rule by Pope Innocent IV in 1247. Thus, the Carmelite Order took its place alongside the mendicant orders. However, about 1235, the Carmelites were forced to abandon their place of origin due to the incursions and persecutions of the Saracens, who were reconquering the Holy Land from the Crusaders. Most of them went back to their country of origin in Europe. Soon, they increased in holiness, but met some difficulties like reluctancy of the people accepting them due to their strange way of life, which was resolved with time by the help of popes and bishops. Later, some women attached themselves to the monasteries of the friars, and in 1452 became cloistered nuns living in their own communities. Reform and development. In the 1516 centuries, there was some relaxation of discipline in use communities, a fact greatly opposed by priors general and among others. But the most famous reform is certainly the one started in Spain by Saint Teresa of Jesus for the reform of the nuns, and then helped by Saint John of the Cross and for Girolamo Gracian for the reform of the friars. The most relevant aspect of this reform of Teresa is not so much that she opposed the mitigations introduced in the life of Carmel, but rather her ability to integrate in her project vital and ecclesial elements of her time. In 1592, this reform, called that of the Discalced Carmelites or of the Teresians, became independent from the Carmelite Order and grew rapidly in the congregations of Spain and Italy, which were then united in 1875. Thus, there are two orders of Carmelites: the Carmelites, also known as of the Ancient Observance, or Chalced, and the Discalced Carmelites, or Teresians, who consider St. Teresa of Jesus their reformer and foundress. In spite of this division, during the following centuries, the Carmelite Order continued its spiritual journey. Many illustrious men and women gave new spirit to Carmel with their own spirituality and genius. There was also significant development among the laity with the institution of the Carmelite Third Order and the confraternities of the Scapular of Our Lady of Mount Carmel throughout the world, and also confraternities of the Holy Infant of Prague, etc. The Carmelite Order today. Since the time of the Second Vatican Council, 1962 to 1965, Carmelites have reflected at length on their identity, on their charism, on what is fundamental in their lives, and what is for them a life project, namely, to live a life of allegiance to Jesus Christ and serve him faithfully with a pure heart and a good conscience. Rule. They found their allegiance to